Hello and namaste and welcome to my channel. I'm your host Nagesh Deshpande. Today we are going to discuss something which is a lot of people nowadays asking me. Career transformation from a Scrum Master to Agile Coach. Is it really worth it? Why I'm saying it? Because nowadays I'm seeing very limited or very less job openings for Agile Coach. Scrum Master, there are still organization hiring, but Agile coaches are very low. Now the people who are gaining experience as a scrum master around decade worth of experience still they are not transformed into a agile coach role. What are the challenges, how these challenges can be handled? To discuss on this topic we have a very special guest today, Vickie. She's from Michigan, and let's welcome Vickie.
Thank you, Nagesh.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good also. Yeah, Vickie, first of all, thanks a lot. Proud to say that you're the first USA based speaker to appear on and on my podcast, and very proud moment for me also. And thanks for choosing a very difficult subject. So currently, as I mentioned in the intro, it's very difficult now, specifically in India. There are very low or very limited agile coach jobs available in the market, and that's what we are going to discuss. Shall we get on with this discussion?
Yes, we shall.
Yes. So I would like to start, first quickly, I would like to introduce Vickie. So Vickie, she has more than 25 years of experience. She has done multiple agile transformation. She's an agile coach, uh, multiple certifications like PMP, PMI-ACP. She's also her CSP. Um, she helps organization and teams unlock their full potential through the agile transformation, disciplined project delivery, and a coaching mindset built over 25 years with hands-on experience. So plenty of insightful discussion lined up. So stay tuned till the end. Now, first question that I would like to understand, is becoming an agile coach still a smart career move?
I think it depends on the person. For me, it was. When I looked at my career, and I had been a Scrum Master for probably 12 years. And I wanted to have a bigger impact. I was working more at the team level. I had started to start working with leaders of the teams that I was supporting, and I realized that for the teams to really to progress, their leaders needed to progress as well. And so I started leaning more toward that direction. And so based on that, I felt that I wanted to even have a bigger impact instead of just working within one business domain, one business area, that encompass maybe 4 or 5 teams. If I could have a larger impact across an IT organization. And that's one reason why I chose to become an agile coach. And so that's why I say, I think it just depends on the person, what they want to get out of it. Some Scrum Masters I've worked with, they don't want to be an agile coach because they really like um, the day-to-day encounters with a team. And so that's where they get their value, that's where they get their joy. And so I think as a person, as a Scrum Master, whatever role that you have to figure out where you're going to get your joy from.
Absolutely, very nicely mentioned. So the crux out of it, it's depend on totally on your personal choice. If you see future growth and if you want to move from team based interaction to leadership, more leadership related, role interactions, then you should choose to become agile coach.
Yes.
And so that's the outcome of this discussion. Very nice, very. Now, what changes after becoming agile coach from a scrum master um, will happen beside just the title?
Let's see. Well, one of the things I did before I made that decision to be an agile coach is I had a very good relationship with one of the leaders when I first started, and they had went from like the leader of a team to an AVP to a VP, and so I pinged them because I wanted to understand from their perspective how their role changed, how their interaction changed, because I kind of equated going from a Scrum Master going up the ladder that I was also going to experience that same thing. And how did they adjust? And so it was a very insightful conversation. And so for me, I had to realize that being a Scrum Master, I was not going to be going to an Agile coach. I was not going to be involved intimately in the details of all the teams. I wasn't going to know the nitty-gritty, all the day-to-day things that, they were experiencing because it was only going to be one of me. And there was no way from a bandwidth perspective I was going to be able to do that. And I had to be okay with that. I also realized that I'm working at a different level with leaders now and not just teams. And so my approach was going to have to be different. I was going to have to learn how to um, explain things to leaders, um, work with them to get their buy-in so that they would be willing to support some of the changes that were going to be needed within their organization. And so I had to start thinking organizationally versus just at a team level.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a good point. So when you become a Scrum Master, you more or work with one or more teams, and your interactions will limit it to the teams. When you become an agile coach, it will move on to the entire organizations. You work with the different departments. Also, you are closely aligned with the business goals of the leader or the business
Mhm.
goal of the organization. Here, when you're working with the team, you most of the times you work with the technical deliverables, technical
Yes.
excellence. Okay. So that's the difference here. So you are you're just not widening or expanding your horizon. You are also exposing yourself to a different territory as an agile coach. So
Yes.
very nice experience. Now, why do many Scrum Masters struggle uh, during the agile coach interview or even the role?
Well, I think some of them struggle because they're still thinking at the team level.
Correct.
Their focus is still on the team when they give responses. It's still pertaining to the team where they're not really looking at the systemic issues that might be
Mhm.
occurring and know that the response and the approach that I'm going to have to do is going to have a wider breadth. And therefore, there are going to be different nuances that's going to occur because of that wider breadth. And I think for some companies that are interviewing for agile coaches, they're looking for people that understand that. They understand the changes that are going to have to go or occur across different teams and what the impact is going to be. And they have to be able to adjust as they need
Correct.
to because if I propose something, I may not know that it's going to have this downstream effect. And so I have to be willing to kind of look at all the different components, parts, and be able then to pivot when I need to, be able to figure out and how to engage the different people. And if the responses that they're giving in the interview is only very one-sided, then that doesn't give the interviewer that comfort level that they feel that they'll be able to handle it at an organizational level.
Absolutely. Yeah. One more thing I want to add here. Whenever there's an interview happening for an agile coach, and if you have strong experience as a Scrum Master, many
Mhm.
Scrum Masters trying to solve the problems. Directly they jump into the solutioning. So if
Hmm.
team is struggling with this, what you will do? And then they immediately put into the solutioning. Whereas an agile coach, you expected to ask powerful questions,
Yes.
then you know identify, lead, ask the team what. So what I will do, I will ask a powerful question.
Hmm.
On top of that, I will ask team what should be the best solution that you look like for you.
Hmm.
Which solution will solve your problems? And then I will request them to experiment with that solution.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
that
true.
so that's how it should be. So Scrum Master or mini Scrum Masters try directly to solve the problems, whereas coach ask team to take the risk and solve their own problems and make them independent,
Hmm.
make the decisions. So that's how I looked at it. When you're going into the interview for an agile coach, that's where you struggle. You try to solve the problems instead of trying to ask the questions. My views. So yeah, you can add.
No, and I believe that you are right in that respect. I think, there are eight stances for a Scrum Master, and Coach
Mm.
is one of them. And I think a lot of times people confuse coaching with mentoring, with a lot of the different things, and that the coach, as you say, is supposed to ask all those questions. They're not supposed to give you the answers. And so, even as a Scrum Master, I always would ask questions. Well, what do you think? One of the things that I always try to do, even as a Scrum Master, which probably has led me to be fairly successful as an Agile coach, is that I don't try to dissuade them from experimenting. I don't try to give them my opinion of whether or not I think they should switch from one framework to another framework. I will lay all the information out there for them. I will ask different questions and say, okay, well, what problem are you trying to solve? Based on the information that I provided, do you think that this is going to solve your problem? And to get them to come to that realization. One of the things I learned a while ago as a Scrum Master is that a lot of times my teams were willing to do something because I asked them to, because they had trust in me, not necessarily because they had bought into it, but it was because of me. And so I learned I had to withhold my opinion a lot of times for them to come to the realization of what they thought was going to be the best approach. And so as an agile coach, it is your duty to ask those hard questions, but to get the leaders, the teams, whomever to figure out what they need to do.
Absolutely. Very nice. Now, coming on to the next topic, you're a certified professional. I'm also a certified agile coach. Now, what skills separate the real coaches, agile coaches, and just the certified ones?
Okay. I don't know that I bought into the real thing. Um, because okay, this is how I will explain it. Um, I think the certification provides individuals with the tools that they will need to be able to do the job. Having said that, a lot of times people can acquire the tools via on-the-job training, through experience, etc. I think where some people make the mistake is that they think because they have the tools that automatically makes them a whatever. That could be a Scrum Master, it could be an Agile coach, it could be whatever role that you want to to put that in. I think what bridges the gap or makes the difference is the experience level, the the being able to apply the tools that you have acquired. And a lot of times, individuals may not have done that. And so then, therefore, they are saying they're an agile coach or they're saying they are a scrum master when they don't have any experience to back it up. And then that's where some problems may then occur because people have mistaken a certification as having been able to apply everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was asked in one of the interviews, so the interviewer asked me to solve the problems they were facing during the retrospectives. And he did ask me what you will do. So one of the tools that I learned, I introduced that tool to the interviewer. I explained him on a whiteboard saying that this is the tool. And by using this tool, most of the people will be able to speak. The challenge
Hmm.
was the most challenging situation for him was people was not talking in the retrospective. And I said this will help people to speak a lot. And his next immediate question was, you know, how did you know, you know, where did you learn all these things? So I said, I'm a certified person and I'm implementing what I'm learned through the certified certifications.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm not just certified on paper. And uh, I got hired. I implemented that tool into that organization and they saw the result. They saw the
Hmm.
difference. People who were, I saw the old retrospective on the Confluence where very limited interactions were, registered or noted. Where after joining, there were more interactions. People were able to free, were able to speak freely in front of
Hmm.
everyone. So that was the power of a tool. But only thing is you need to or you should know how to use it. If you don't know how to use
Yes.
it, that's the problem.
Yes.
Okay, so great discussion. Now moving on, like we just said in the start of the discussion also, is the demand of agile coaches growing or shrinking?
I think it's changing.
Hmm.
I think um, the the scope of what an agile coach was is different than what it is now. I think that a lot of changes are occurring because of AI.
AI,
I
yes.
think a lot of changes are occurring because people or organizations are tightening their belts and they want to be able to know that the individuals that they are hiring are bringing value to the organization. One of the things, Scrum Master role, Project Manager role, Agile Coach role, for some areas, it's very hard to quantify the value that that role brings because it's not something that you can look at on a piece of paper and say, oh, we produced X number of widgets, so therefore we're valuable. No. And a lot of times, what I have told different people who are just now entering into the Scrum Master role, that you may go 6 months before you see something valuable that you've been working with your team on, and that it's the value is not going to be immediate. And so there's going to be some valleys, there's going to be some hills, and when you're in the valley, some days you'll be like, why am I doing this? And that's because it's not something that you will get instant gratification on. And so I think that's why different organizations are re-evaluating what they want that role to be. And they're changing what the entry requirements are for their organizations. And so if individuals that are applying are not modifying their approach and really looking at what the organization is asking for, and they're going in with for the old mindset, like for lack of a better word, then they're going to find difficulty in possibly finding that job, or maybe they may get the job, but it's different than what they had anticipated it being. So I think both sides are going to have to like change what their expectations are.
Absolutely. Both the organization as well as the person who is applying. But I
Mhm.
have I want to add few more things here, and I want to ask one more thing. The impact of AI and as well as the hybrid work culture. Earlier, you used to be everything used to be co-located, sitting together. Now it's a hybrid. People are either working from different offices or many times they're working from home. How it is going to impact on agile coach roles?
Um, I think to me, it can have the same impact that a Scrum Master role would have because you're going to have to be able to modify your approach as far as like working with leaders, the amount of time that they have. One of the things that I found is that when you're working with AVPs or VPs or whatever, the time that you have available to them is at the most a lot of times 30 minutes
Oh,
tops. So you have to be very concise and succinct in what you want to talk to them about, what you need from them, so that they can give you what you need so that you can move forward, but also be able to tell them what they're going to have to do as far as supporting the organization, supporting the transformation. And so one of the things I think also is that I look at my leaders as my stakeholders. And so I have to talk to my stakeholders to find out what form of communication do they prefer? Is it email? Is it Slack? Is it Teams? What is it? And so then, therefore, I'm communicating to them in the format that they're comfortable. I'm communicating them at the frequency that they prefer, and that they're not inundated with a bunch of different things and they don't have time to respond. And so they're not frustrated and I'm not frustrated. So I think it's very similar to Scrum Masters who are now working in a hybrid manner as well.
nice. Now, coming on to the next topic that I want to bring, but what should Scrum Masters know before chasing the Agile Coach role? So here are a few things that we are going to discuss. Either they read more books, they polish their own skills, they
Mhm.
interact with more people, or they keep learning. What you will say? What should they chase?
Okay, well, I don't think they should chase after the title just for the title. I One of the things that, people seem to think is that once you become an agile coach, you've like reached the promised land that you don't have to do anything else. And for me, it's always been about learning. I invest in myself. And a lot of times, different individuals think that it's the company that they work for. They have to be the ones to put up the money to send you to conferences, to send you to different webinars, different things like that. And I learned that I am a valuable commodity and I have to be willing to invest in myself. And so, do I strategically figure out if this conference or this book or this webinar is going to provide value to me? Yes. And I evaluate and say, okay, this is a smart investment for me. So, I think it's all about um, continuous learning. I think it's all about figuring out where your improvement opportunities are and then shoring those things up, improving in those areas. I think it's all about interacting with a lot of the different agile thought leaders that are out there. You will see a wealth of information on LinkedIn where you can follow different people and read their books and engage with them online. Uh, I've also realized that even as an agile coach, you need a coach. So
Correct.
just because I am a coach does not mean that I don't need to be coached in different areas. And that may mean I might have several different coaches that this coach may coach me in advising. This coach may coach me in maybe some new facilitation techniques. It just depends, but I have to be open to that feedback and open to continuously learning.
Absolutely. Open to continuous learning. That's the crux here. Keep learning, read the
Hmm.
books, go to most suitable conferences, connect with thought leaders on LinkedIn, their blogs, maybe newsletter, maybe they have either their own YouTube channel, whichever way it can be, and keep
Hmm.
learning. Now, coming on to our last question. If you were a Scrum Master today, in overall
Hmm.
global situation, would you still become an Agile coach?
For me, the answer is yes, because I knew where I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to have a greater impact. So for me, yes, I would do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. For me also, I'm yes. If I get an opportunity to work as an Agile coach, yes, I'll keep working. Great, Vicky. It was pleasure talking to you. It was great discussion, and the outcome here is yes, there's still scope for an agile coach. If you see the opportunity, make yourself capable enough by learning, by continuous learning, study, and grab the opportunity. So
Definitely.
from the entire audience of Agile Exploration Hub, I would like to say thank you.
Thank you so much for offering this opportunity for me.
So if you really enjoyed this discussion, guys, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, guys.